welcome to Learning with Dr. Shivangi. Today's topic is Ubarimai Fidai or duty or obligation to speak. As in the previous videos, we already started the playlist for the subject business legislation and also discuss various topics related to it like Contract Act, its classification, free consent, and other important provisions. So in this video, we will discuss about this topic. You can also watch other videos. Links are provided in the description box. So before I started the video, I want to say you that if you like my video, please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe my channel, which is Learning with Dr. Shivangi. Now coming to the main topic, which is Ubrimai Fidai or duty of obligation to speak. In certain contracts, the law requires the parties to make fullest disclosure of material facts. Failure to disclose such facts would make the contract void or voidable as the case may be. Such contracts are called ubrimae fidei, that is, contracts requiring utmost good faith. When in some of the contracts there is a requirement of material fact disclosure, but it is not possible, then that particular contract is declared void or voidable according to the cases. These contracts are known as ubrimae fidei contracts. In such contracts, a party having any information regarding the subject matter which is likely to affect the willingness of the other party to enter into transactions is bound to disclose the information. So, in particular type of contracts, a party requires any information regarding to the subject matter of the contract and want the transaction details also from the other party. So, this is the such type of contracts. Following types of contract including in this type of contract, which are as follows. First one is contract of insurance. Second is contract of immovable property. Third is contracts of suretyship. Fourth is allotment of shares in companies. Fifth is contracts of marriage. And the last is contracts of family settlements. So these are the contracts included in this type of contract. Now we discuss each of the point one by one in detail. So first one is the contracts of insurance. In contract of insurance, insured is required to disclose all material facts concerning the insurance which are likely to affect the risk and thus the willingness of the insurer. Failure to do will result in avoidance of the policy. Even if the mistake is innocent, the policy can be avoided. So in the contract of insurance, there is required of insured person to disclose all material facts related to the insurance, which also affect the risk and willingness of the insurer. The second contract under this contract is contract of immovable property. Under section 55 IA of a Transfer of Property Act 1882, the seller is under an obligation to disclose to the buyer any material defect in the property or in the seller's title of which the seller is aware and the buyer nor he, buyer, could know with ordinary care. So, contract of immovable property comes under the Transfer of Property Act 1882, in which obligation to disclose the buyer in any material fact is compulsory. For example, A knows that there is a crack in the foundation of his house. He sells his house to B but does not disclose this defect to B. It is fraud. So B avoids the sale when he comes to know of this defect. So it is compulsory to disclose all the facts related to the immovable property. The third contract is contract of suretyship. Strictly speaking, contract of guarantee are not contracts of good faith. Even then, the creditor should disclose any known facts which are likely to affect the surety's willingness to guarantee the amount. So, suretyship contract is related to the guarantee of the guarantor, in which the creditor should disclose any known facts which is related to affect the surety's willingness. For example, failure of an employer to disclose the surety, the misconduct of the servant, for whose honesty the latter had a given a continuing guarantee is sufficient to discharge the surety from his obligation to make good the loss due to default of the servant. The surety is discharged even though the non-disclosure may not be fraudulent. This is the case of London General Omnibus Company Limited. So in this case, there is a surety is not disclosed on the failure of the employee, which comes under this contract. The next is the allotment of shares in companies. To protect public interest, Companies Act requires the directors to make fullest possible disclosure in the prospectus. If the directors do not disclose the specified facts, the agreement to take shares can be avoided. So, under this contract, it is required to protect the public interest under the Companies Act, which is mentioned also the directors have to disclose the specified facts related to the interest of the public. The next contract is contract of marriage. Each party to an agreement of marriage is duty bound to disclose every material fact. Otherwise, the party is justified in breaking of the engagement. It is the case study of Haji Ahmed and Abdul Ghani, 1973. So, in the contract of marriage, it is also compulsory to disclose all the related facts related to contract of marriage. The last contract is contract of family settlements. Full disclosure of all material facts is necessary in case of family settlements. For example, A knew that there is a treasurer in that portion of the house in which he is living. Before partition, he did not disclose these facts to other brothers B and C. Can claim the share in which treasure. So it is also related to family settlement in which partition, at the time of partition, all the material facts are not disclosed to other partners. So it comes under this family settlement contract. So this is all about the contract of obligation to speak. I again summarize all the points so that you can easily understand about the topic. So when the material requirement details is compulsory to disclose to all the partners, it comes under obligation to speak or duty or prima fidei. There are several types of contract considered under this contract, which are contract of insurance, contract of immovable property, contract of suretyship, allotment of shares in companies, contract of marriage, and contracts of family settlement. So this is all about the contract of duty of obligation to speak. If you have any query about this topic, or if you want to know about any other topic related to research methodology, business management, business environment, you can ask me through comment box. If you like my video, please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe my channel, which is Learning with Dr. Shivangi. We'll meet in the next video with new topic. Thank you everyone.